Imagine waking up in ancient China. My best friend is now the Empress. I'm the Regent's wife, and the man we both secretly fear, the legendary female general, is coming back. Can we survive this palace chaos? I traveled back to ancient times together with my best friend. She married the emperor and became the empress. I married the regent prince and became his princess consort. The two of them shared the same white moonlight, a female general. Once that beloved female general returned from the battlefield in triumph, it would surely be the day both of us were cast aside. Whether we could even survive after that was hard to say. Worried sick, I grabbed my best friend's hand and said, "I'm planning to fake my death and run away. Are you in?" My best friend replied, "You die first. I'll die the next day. Otherwise, it'll look too obvious." 1. At the Regent Prince's mansion, I was showing my best friend, who had secretly slipped out of the palace, the new gilded nail guards I'd just gotten. "Bestie, look at these nail guards of mine. Way prettier than yours, right? This color, this length, definitely sharp enough to scratch the Regent Prince to death." The Regent Prince appeared out of nowhere. "Princess consort, what did you just say?" My best friend hadn't even finished rolling her eyes before she was so startled she nearly went cross-eyed. The two of us jumped to our feet by pure reflex. "Greetings to the Regent Prince." "The Regent Prince." "Your Majesty the Empress. Why are you greeting me?"
2.
"Oh right, why would I, this Empress, be greeting you?" My best friend straightened up. Now I was the only one left half squatting in greeting. So awkward. "Princess consort, what exactly did you just say?" Here we go again, coming to question me. I'd been married to him for 2 years, and even in bed, he liked to interrogate me. Honestly, Mr. Interrogator. Of course I didn't dare say that out loud. "Your humble wife said that the Regent Prince is incomparably handsome, and that I should dress myself up better to keep your highness's heart." The Regent Prince was pleased. His handsome brows relaxed. "I've told you many times, just call me a Juan. And there's no need for you to go to such trouble." He glanced at my best friend and frowned again. "There was no notice today of the Empress's carriage arriving at the mansion. Your Majesty should leave as soon as possible." Yes, I'll leave right away," my best friend said, wiping non-existent sweat from her forehead. The Regent Prince nodded and turned to leave.
3.
"Did you hear that? He said there's no need. He tells me every day not to bother trying because he already has his white moonlight. Basically saying he'll never like me, right?" The moment the Regent Prince left, I switched into full complaint mode. The Emperor and the Regent Prince both had the same white moonlight, the female General Yin Hongyu, who had spent years fighting on the battlefield. Rumor had it she was as beautiful as a moon goddess and as talented in strategy and martial arts as any man. My best friend and I had known about her from the start, which was why neither of us had any real feelings for the Emperor or the Regent Prince. "Babe, calm down. Don't be mad. You actually have it better. At least the Regent Prince only has a white moonlight and no childhood sweetheart. I'm the miserable one in the palace. I can't even see the Emperor without being summoned, all bathed and perfumed. And his childhood sweetheart, Consort Shu, keeps trying to slip me laxatives." My best friend fake sobbed. "Sia, you really do have it rough. White moonlight plus childhood sweetheart, the full reincarnation buff stacked to the max. Seeing you suffer makes me feel instantly better." My best friend. "Seriously? Enough talking. I got caught by the Regent Prince. That sneaky old fox is definitely going to send word to the palace. Last month, when the dog emperor found out, I was confined for a whole month. I just snuck out again and got caught. If I get confined one more time, I might as well just die and see if I can go back to modern times." I clapped my hands. "Sounds good. If you die, I'll die too. Maybe we can transmigrate back together." 4. After seeing my best friend off, I was left alone in the room again. Alone with piles of gilded nail guards, jeweled hairpieces, gold ornaments, gold bars, jade bracelets, pearl necklaces, agate. Holding all that jewelry, I sighed to myself about how lonely life in the mansion was, looking utterly heartbroken. Actually, I wasn't that heartbroken. I was just acting. Princess consort, who is more important, the Empress or me? Of course the Empress is more important. How can a man compare to a best friend? I blurted out while playing with the agate ring the Regent Prince had just given me. Wait, who was talking just now? I slowly turned my head, still wearing the jeweled hairpiece, and saw the Regent Prince standing at the door, having silently returned. I forced an awkward smile. Oh no. The Regent Prince ground his teeth, flicked his sleeve, and stormed off. I didn't see him again for half a month.
5.
My best friend got confined again, but this time the Emperor specially approved for me to enter the palace to keep her company. I'd been staying in the Empress's quarters for the past couple of days, and rumors gradually spread through the palace and among the common people that the Empress and the Regent Prince's princess consort were both suffering from unrequited love and often confided in each other. As one of the main characters of that rumor, I was currently staring enviously at a box of my best friend's exquisite jewelry. Take it, all of it. I saved it all up for you, okay? She said helplessly. I instantly beamed. Now that's more like it. The Emperor treats you pretty well, doesn't he? Favored in the main palace, the only one in the entire harem. He's just putting on a show for outsiders, using me as a shield, my best friend said casually. But the Emperor really changed this time? He actually allowed me to come in and keep you company? My best friend snorted. That's all because of my hard work. How did you manage that? I asked, suddenly interested. Don't tell me you did this and that in bed. And then, what are you thinking? My best friend blushed. I threatened him with my life. I told him if I couldn't see you, I wouldn't live. White silk, poison wine. I put on the whole act. That's the only reason he agreed. I gave her a thumbs up. You're ruthless. I humbly admit defeat. We settled into our usual routine in the palace. I complained about the Regent Prince for a while, she complained about the Emperor for a while, and time passed just like that. But honestly, the Emperor isn't bad in bed. He's handsome and classy, way better looking than any male model. If I get to be pampered like that for a few years before leaving, it's totally worth it. I didn't dare say a word. What's wrong, babe? Why so quiet? How about your Regent Prince? How are his skills? I frantically shot her meaningful looks. What's wrong with your eyes? Feeling unwell? I have medicine here. I'll go find some for you. Without even putting on shoes, she jumped up to look for medicine. The moment she turned around, she crashed straight into the Emperor behind her. My best friend's face went pale. Aji, is my time as Empress over? The Emperor kept a cold expression. He glanced at her bare feet in only socks and scooped her up in his arms. Princess consort, that will be all for today. Dishinquin, escort the princess consort out of the palace. I shivered, ignored my best friend's pleading gaze, and fled at top speed. As the door closed behind me, I heard from inside the room. Empress, today you'd better explain to me what male model means. Otherwise, I'll be sure to discipline you properly. Good luck, see ya. Wishing you a wonderful night. I'm sure you can handle it just fine without me. 6. Achoo. Achoo. Sitting in the sedan chair on the way out of the palace, I kept sneezing non-stop. Either my best friend was missing me, or the Regent Prince was cursing me behind my back. Sneezing all the way, I finally returned to the Regent Prince's mansion, only to find that he was already waiting for me in the bedchamber. Caught a cold? The cold, handsome Regent Prince spoke slowly. I was momentarily dazzled by his beauty and forgot to answer. No, it's probably the Empress thinking about me, I replied instinctively, while staring at his handsome face. Why can't it be that I'm thinking about you? The Regent Prince frowned. Don't tell me there's only the Empress in your heart? I clicked my tongue. Well, obviously my best friend and I are practically one soul in two bodies. But I couldn't say that. There's only the Regent Prince in my heart. It's just that you can't always stay by my side. Getting carried away with my act, I added resentfully, Your Highness, you haven't spent time with me for so long. But I understand, you handle countless state affairs. The country is more important than family matters.
Don't worry about me.
I can manage on my own. Very well. I'll stay and accompany you tonight. Then your humble wife won't see you out. Wait, what? I said from now on, today, the rest of the day, and tonight, I'll stay with you. A single six slipped out of my mouth. But by nighttime, I wasn't saying six anymore. That old sly fox of a regent prince not only made me call him Juan all night, he also went 6 rounds. Wasn't 6 what you asked for, princess consort? Not satisfied? The regent prince asked as he carried me, exhausted like a worn-out dog, to bathe. Me, 6. This time I didn't dare say it out loud. I was afraid he'd go again.
7.
Our army won a great victory over the Xiongnu. The emperor was so pleased that he declared a general amnesty, and both my best friend and I received generous rewards. But instead of being happy, we were both full of worry. Looking at my best friend, who had clearly gained weight under the emperor's care, I hesitated. The white moonlight has returned in triumph. The regent prince and the emperor are definitely going to go crazy over her. What are we supposed to do? I don't want to fight palace schemes. I don't have the brains for that. My equally miserable best friend sighed. One childhood sweetheart was already enough to give me a headache, and now there's a female general too. What if she beats me up? Then, should we? I tested the waters. Fake our deaths? That's exactly what I was thinking. I was just afraid you developed feelings for the regent prince and didn't dare bring it up, my best friend said excitedly. I was worried you had feelings for the emperor too. I hesitated for ages before saying it. We hit it off instantly. So how do we die? I asked. You die first, then I'll die after. If we die together, it'll look too obvious. That way, people will say I died from grief over your death, she said after thinking it over.
Deal.
I'll fake my death the day after tomorrow. We won't meet these 2 days, so it doesn't look suspicious. Then the day after that, you die and we meet up at the temple outside the city. After hearing the plan, my best friend gave me an okay sign. Before leaving the palace, I specially reminded her to bring along all the gold, silver, and jewels the emperor had rewarded her. Don't you dare forget my favorite gold and kingfisher feather hair set. I know, she said helplessly.
8.
We behaved ourselves for 2 days. The regent prince came once, but stayed for less than the time it takes to drink a cup of tea before hurrying off. He was probably going to the palace to fight with the emperor over the white moonlight. I felt a little sad. After all, I'd spent 2 years with the regent prince. Even a dog would develop feelings after that long. How could I possibly have none? From now on, no one will casually reward me with priceless jewelry anymore, I sighed, hugging my pile of treasures and picking up the jade bracelet the regent prince had just given me. This was imperial green jade, after all. Time flew by quickly. Tomorrow would be the day of my fake death. That night, the regent prince lay beside me in bed, holding me tightly. Princess consort, do you truly love me? Of course, Juan. I truly love you, I answered sleepily and perfunctorily. More than the Empress? He had asked me this question countless times over the past 2 years, like clocking in at work. Since it was my last day on the job, I answered dutifully. Of course, I love you the most. In this world, I love you more than anyone. As soon as I finished speaking, I fell fast asleep. So I never saw the dark, unfathomable look in the regent prince's eyes, or felt his arms tightening around me. Princess consort, if you dare lie to me, I will lock you up and keep you only for myself.
9.
This was the first day of my fake death. Because of all the exhaustion from last night, I woke up late. Thankfully, the plan went smoothly. In one blaze, my room was gone. Dressed in a maid's clothing and wearing a veil, I stood far away watching the regent prince, his eyes red and crazed, being held back by others, trying again and again to rush into the burning room. My heart clenched painfully, and sadness spread through my chest. I forced myself to hold back my emotions and brainwash myself. I kept reminding myself that later on he would definitely fight with the emperor over the white moonlight. Suppressing the ache in my heart, I turned around and walked away without looking back. Behind me, the heavy bag of jewels clinked softly.
10.
As planned, I arrived at the temple outside the city. I gave the abbot a piece of gold as incense money, and he arranged a room for me. Everything was ready. Now I just had to wait for my best friend. Lying in the temple room, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. My mind was filled with the image of the Regent Prince desperately trying to rush into the fire. My heart was a tangled mess of emotions. It must be because the pillows here aren't silk pillows, the bed isn't made of a whole slab of jade, and there aren't 4 layers of embroidered shoe brocade cushions, I muttered to myself. To be honest, the Regent Prince had never treated me poorly these past few years. Everything I used was the best of the best. His birth mother had died early, so I didn't even have to deal with mother-in-law problems. I remembered when I had first transmigrated here. Desperate to go back, I jumped into the lake at the mansion. The moment water rushed into my nose and mouth, I suddenly regretted trying to die. Suicide really does take courage. Just as I was about to suffocate, the Regent Prince jumped into the lake, gave me mouth-to-mouth air, and then stayed by my bedside for 3 days without even attending court. That was how I survived. Later, I accidentally met the Empress in the palace, and my best friend and I recognized each other by chance. Only then did I completely give up the idea of seeking death. If he didn't have that white moonlight, he actually would have been quite a good person. I shook my head hard, forcing those useless thoughts away, hugged my bundle of gold and jewels tightly, and before I knew it, drifted off to sleep. 11. When I opened my eyes again, the temple was already surrounded. Good news. There was a way out the back. Bad news. It was only a dog hole. I had just crawled halfway out of the hole when I looked up and met the Regent Prince's deep, dark eyes. His cold, clear voice carried a hint of anger. Princess consort, where do you think you're going? I was doomed. What if I say I burned down my bedchamber because it felt uncomfortable and just came out for a stroll to enjoy the scenery? Would you believe me? He didn't believe me. I wondered, if the Regent Prince executed me, would that count as dying of old age?
12.
You came out to enjoy the scenery, yet you didn't bring any maids, but somehow carried all this gold and jewelry with you? Because my excuse was so painfully weak, I was dragged straight back to the mansion by the Regent Prince. Since I had burned down my own bedchamber, I now had no choice but to live in his. No matter how much I begged to stay in a side room, he refused. To be precise, he completely ignored me. After all, I was in ancient times now. I had to use some fancy classical phrasing. I went to the temple today, because I had something to do. I really did, something very serious, I said, trying to look sincere, though inside I was panicking. What if my best friend successfully faked her death and couldn't find me? Were you waiting for Her Majesty the Empress? How did you know? I blurted out, then hurriedly clapped a hand over my mouth. The Regent Prince sneered. No need to wait. The fake death medicine the Empress secretly hid has already been discovered by His Majesty. Now, you're not going anywhere. Then he took out a very long, golden ankle chain and fastened it around my ankle, locking the other end to a golden bamboo pillar in the bedchamber. Well, so this was a full-on captivity play? 13. For the past 2 days, I had been staying in the Regent Prince's bedchamber, and every time I lay on his bed, I gritted my teeth in resentment. 6 layers of shoe brocade cushions, an entire jade bed. So this was how luxuriously he slept? The ankle chain was long enough for me to move freely around the room. Every day, the small kitchen sent in all kinds of delicious food, and jewelry and treasures flowed in like water. At night, the Regent Prince personally kept me company. Honestly, life was pretty comfortable. But I still missed my best friend terribly. These days, I didn't even have anyone to complain about the Regent Prince to. Occasionally, I'd grumble to a maid, and somehow he would find out immediately. And at night, I would learn exactly how formidable the Regent Prince could be. So I obediently kept all my complaints bottled up inside. Captivity play might sound exciting, but being locked up like this for a whole month could really drive a person insane. I was getting more and more irritable. Several times I threw tantrums at the Regent Prince, only to have him turn around and coax me afterward. This time, my outburst was especially bad. He frowned. What exactly do I have to do to make you feel better? You clearly have your white moonlight, so why won't you let me go? Tears slid down my face as I lost control of my emotions for once. Why trap me in this tiny mansion? And now I can't even leave your bedchamber. White moonlight. Are you talking about In Hongyu? In Hongyu was the name of that famous female general. The Regent Prince gave me a strange look, then bent down and unlocked the ankle chain. Your bedchamber has already been repaired. From today on, you can move back. With that, he turned and left. I returned to my own room and stared in shock at the magnificent interior, just as lavish as the Empress's palace. How on earth had it become even more extravagant than before? 14. I spent 3 boring days back in my own quarters. Without the Regent Prince beside me at night, I actually found it a little hard to fall asleep. He had removed the ankle chain and allowed me to move around freely again, though I was required to bring a maid whenever I went out. On the 4th day, I finally saw him again. Princess consort, go get ready. I'll take you to the palace.
Yay.
I was so happy I planted a kiss right on his face. Seeing the tips of his ears turn bright red, I suddenly found him unexpectedly cute for the first time. On the way to the palace, he held my hand the entire time, as if afraid I might jump out of the carriage and run away. Honestly, did he really think I could outrun him? Still, I squeezed his hand tightly in return. Since he was letting me see my best friend, I figured I'd reward him a little. 15. When I saw my best friend again, we hugged each other and burst into tears, pouring out everything in our hearts, completely ignoring the Emperor and the Regent Prince standing nearby. Looking at her slightly plumper figure, I cried, "I missed you so much I couldn't even eat. How dare you eat this much?" She cried back, "I couldn't eat either." When the fake death medicine was discovered, my whole world collapsed. I fainted on the spot. When I woke up, there were imperial doctors kneeling everywhere telling me I was pregnant. Now I can't stop gaining weight. Me? You're pregnant? I quickly let go of her and carefully helped her sit down. We're going to have a baby. The handsome emperor, who had been standing silently like background scenery, finally spoke through gritted teeth. I've been guarding against you for 2 whole years, and now that she's carrying my child, you still want to take advantage of the situation? Aha, Your Majesty, sorry, got a bit too excited. I laughed awkwardly. As the story takes a quieter turn, let's pause for a moment. Imagine being in the middle of palace intrigue, yet life is slipping into a strange mix of calm and chaos. 2 best friends, 1 pregnant, the Regent Prince hovering nearby, and every day a delicate dance between safety and scandal. Ready to see how they navigate this tangled web? Let's dive back in.
16.
With my best friend pregnant, our escape plan had to be abandoned. The Emperor and the Regent Prince, unaware of what the hurried eunuch had just reported, both left the bedchamber. It was just the 2 of us now. And honestly, we didn't mind the quiet. Since we were here, we might as well make the best of it. Curiously, I crouched down and pressed my ear to my best friend's belly, marveling at the little life growing inside. Sia, I think the baby just kicked me. This one's definitely going to be healthy. My best friend rolled her eyes. I'm only 4 months along. What could possibly kick you? An egg follicle? Me. 17. Every day, the Emperor and the Regent Prince were busy negotiating with enemy states, plus preparations for the grand April celebration. I, meanwhile, ran to the palace daily, never leaving my best friend's side, worried that the Emperor's childhood friend might cause trouble. One day, I arrived a little late. Before I even entered the hall, I heard Consort Shu's unreasonable voice. "I am His Majesty's consort, the first among the 4. How dare you?" I hurried in, intending to protect my best friend. My foot had just stepped inside when I heard her calm, effortless command. "Smack her mouth." Smack, smack, smack. I stepped further in and saw 2 palace maids pinning Consort Shu down, while the palace's chief eunuch ruthlessly struck her face. Every time Consort Shu spoke, my best friend ordered another smack. Blood began seeping from the corners of her mouth, and finally, she fell silent. I shivered. My best friend, you're really something. Bow. What are you doing here? My best friend noticed me and instantly brightened, smiling. Come sit by me and watch me beat up the childhood friend. Consort Shu. Seriously, could you maybe consider keeping it subtle for the witnesses? I sat beside her. The palace maid quickly served me tea. Her hand trembled slightly while holding the cup. I couldn't help but twitch at the corner of my mouth. My dear best friend, look at the chaos you've caused. Today, I am tired. Consort Shu, remember this. If you dare wander here again, I will grant you a crimson punishment 1 zhang long. Consort Shu scrambled away in fear. 18. Sia, you're amazing, I said, giving her a thumbs up. How could I be? When you weren't here, I was terrified, she whined, clutching her belly and heart. I was afraid my baby and I wouldn't make it until you returned. Me 6. Not while you were busy punching Consort Shu, though. These past 2 days I've thought it over. The Emperor's actually been good to me all along. Now that I have a child, motherhood is kicked in, and since we can only die of old age to return to modern times, we might as well enjoy the present. But what about the white moonlight? I asked. Even though we haven't seen her yet, the Regent Prince and the Emperor will inevitably fall for her and abandon us. The other day, I told the Regent Prince this, and he slammed his sleeve and didn't see me for days. She shrugged philosophically. Then we just pretend our husbands are dead. I'm the Empress, you're the Regent Prince's main consort. We keep our distance from the white moonlight, and our food supply won't be cut off.
True.
I've already been pretending my husband was dead, I said. The Regent Prince, no matter how late he was busy, would still come to rest in my bedchamber, and he'd come frequently even before that. My best friend and I reached a consensus. Since we're here, we'll make the best of it. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2 months went by. Her belly grew larger each day. The white moonlight had not appeared, and the Emperor and Regent Prince became increasingly attentive. Everything was moving in a strange direction. The grand April celebration was approaching. 19. I was reluctant to attend the celebration because the white moonlight would be there. I was genuinely worried she would cause trouble. We were just 2 college seniors, never even near graduate school. How could we handle palace intrigue? If the white moonlight pulled a trick, we'd both be sentenced to death. A death sentence might be merciful, but what if it was the 1 zhang crimson punishment, being torn apart by 5 horses or little needle pokes? So on the way to the celebration, I was in a foul mood. Princess Consort, what's wrong? The Regent Prince noticed my unease and held my hand tighter. Nothing. My period's coming soon, so I'm in a bad mood, I snapped at him. I was annoyed after today. That dog of a man wouldn't be just mine anymore. Of course, the Regent Prince didn't believe my lame excuse. He pulled me close, letting me lean on his shoulder. Princess Consort, is it because of Yin Hongyu? Humph. I snorted, refusing to answer. For 2 months, no matter how proactive he was, no matter how much he tried to explain that he and Yin Hongyu were just like brothers, I wouldn't believe it, and it was my one trigger. It was laughable. Novels always portray the white moonlight situation this way. First friends, then realizing it's romantic, so cliché, so frustrating. Just thinking about my man, who constantly coddles me when I'm angry, potentially loving another woman, made me upset. I had considered fighting for him, considered palace intrigue, but both my best friend and I hated female rivalry. Forget it. A man who can easily transfer his affection? Not worth it. My mind was a mess, and I nodded absent-mindedly at whatever the Regent Prince said, just to appease him.
20.
Before I knew it, we arrived at the palace gates. The eunuchs immediately let the carriage through, seeing it was the Regent Prince's. They all seem really afraid of you? I asked, forgetting about the white moonlight for a moment. You're mistaken, Princess Consort. I am kind by nature. Why would they fear me? True enough, though the Regent Prince seemed cold and distant, he actually had a very good temper. I must have misjudged him. Still, the Emperor treated him very well. He was the only non-family Regent Prince, didn't have to kneel before the Emperor, and his carriage could enter the palace through the main gate without dismounting. I benefited from that too. The Regent Prince's carriage could take me directly from his mansion to the Empress's hall. Considering my laziness, I would have been exhausted if I had to walk every day to see my best friend. He helped me down from the carriage, leaving Lin Chancellor gawking. "Is there something wrong, Chancellor Lin?" The Regent Prince frowned. "Nothing, nothing. The love between the prince and princess consort is unmatched, truly envy-inducing." Lin hurriedly saluted and rushed inside. I really did feel like they were a little afraid of the Regent Prince. 21. The hall was decorated with extraordinary opulence. The Emperor and my best friend sat at the highest seats, and after we paid our respects, the Regent Prince and I took our place, just to the Emperor's right. The other ministers sat further down, about 3 or 4 meters below the steps, arranged by rank, civil officials to the left, military to the right. Since the state relied more on generals than scholars, the generals naturally took the right-hand side. As soon as I sat down, my eyes started darting around, scanning for any handsome civil or military officers. If the Regent Prince fell for the white moonlight, I might as well play my little forbidden princess consort and minister romance under his nose. Unfortunately, there wasn't a single one. The envoy from a rival state sat at the far end, and his looks were, frankly, unremarkable. Sorry, I rarely judge appearances, but I'm a visual person. I can't help myself. Disappointed, my gaze landed on a figure at the hall's entrance. What a striking young general, broad-shouldered, barrel-chested. Long hair tied high, clad in armor, looking both masculine and handsome in an almost androgynous way. He seemed at least 190 centimeters. The Regent Prince is only 185, so this guy towered half a head above him. Perhaps sensing my stare, the general glanced at me, gave a subtle nod, and a faint, knowing smile played on his lips. I blushed and turned away, glancing at my best friend nearby, who was cradling her belly and practically drooling over the general. Oh, my best friend has a type. Tall, dark-skinned, athletic boys. "General Hongyu, you're a bit late," someone announced.
What?
General Hongyu, the white moonlight. "In Hongyu?" My best friend and I instinctively exchanged shocked looks. There was more in my best friend's eyes. Her long-coveted tall, dark, athletic crush just vanished. Well, true to form, she thought like me, a little forbidden, Empress and minister fun under the Regent Prince's nose. 22. Your Majesty, I've traveled far and dusty. May I first have a cup of fine wine? In Hongyu said, hands clasped, kneeling on one knee. A feminine voice reached me, and I thought, wait, that's a woman? Her face is slightly handsome, maybe appealing to women, but to men, totally different from the legendary white moonlight, the Regent Prince and Emperor's favorite, a face so exquisite it's unreal. The Emperor waved his hand, inviting In Hongyu to sit at the very front of the general section. Wow, so young and already in this position. Her future is limitless. Next came the boring dance performance, which I couldn't care less about. My mind was all on In Hongyu's face. Not that I liked her. First, I'm not into women. Second, even if I were, she's not unattractive. But mostly, she looked nothing like the stories claimed. My eyes kept wandering toward her as she ate meat and drank wine, enjoying the dancers. Glancing at my best friend, she was even worse, eyes wide, staring fixedly at In Hongyu. Terrifying. The Emperor seemed to notice and said, "Xia, stop staring." My best friend's face instantly turned bright red. Seeing her caught and embarrassed, I snickered. Who, me? You've been stealing glances yourself. What? Am I invisible? My best friend's face turned crimson too. Match achieved. 23. Curious about In Hongyu's visit, I welcomed her in the main hall after getting ready. She had changed into ordinary attire, but still male clothing, with long hair tied high. Paired with her muscular frame, I still felt slightly off balance. "Greetings, Regent Princess Consort," In Hongyu bowed. "And you as well. During the celebration, I felt an instant connection with you, Princess Consort, and came specially to pay my respects. We hit it off immediately." I even started venting about the Regent Prince, and In Hongyu just listened, smiling quietly. Feeling playful, I grabbed her hand, strolling toward the mansion's rear garden while continuing to vent. Just as I was getting into it, the Regent Prince returned, dusty from travel. In Hongyu, how dare you think of my princess consort? Cousin, why be so tense? I was merely confiding with her, In Hongyu said, rising to bow. Me? What even is this? In the end, the three of us sat in a garden pavilion, staring at each other. Fetch the gold-threaded cushion. Princess consort mustn't catch a chill, the Regent Prince said, glancing at In Hongyu with a hint of pride. Wow, he even remembered my period approaching and not to get cold. This man keeps dates? Please also prepare a bowl of brown sugar water for Princess Consort while making tea. In Hongyu instructed a maid, understanding the hint. Me. So you two are competing now, huh? 24. Tea arrived, along with the gold-threaded cushion and brown sugar water. I settled onto the cushion, sipping the tea. Pure bliss. To be remembered by both the Regent Prince and General In Hongyu, this was divine treatment. In Hongyu, explain why you came to see the princess consort while I was in the palace, the Regent Prince asked. Cousin, you're keeping a tight watch on your sister-in-law. My little sister just wanted to see her. Is that not allowed? Afraid she'd run away with me? In Hongyu sipped tea and spoke calmly. Wait, why do you call him cousin? I asked, confused. And you call her Hongyu? Are you that close? The Regent Prince ground his teeth. Fine, fine, if you care so much, I won't ask again. Regent Prince is my cousin by blood, In Hongyu explained. Mind your own business. I'll tell the princess consort myself, the Regent Prince snapped. Today, he really acted like a schoolboy. The atmosphere between them was delicate and awkward, not the secret longing typical of white moonlight stories. Blood relation? That's fine. I can relax. I leaned back, letting out a long sigh. I resigned, closing my eyes. The gold-threaded cushion was so comfortable, I forgot it wasn't the backed bench in my own chamber. No pain whatsoever. I cautiously opened my eyes, glanced left and right, and saw both In Hongyu and the Regent Prince reaching out to steady me. I quickly straightened up. Once upright, the Regent Prince's expression darkened. Hongyu, you've stayed long enough. Isn't it time to return to your general's mansion? In Hongyu smiled faintly, rising to leave. Before going, she said, Sister-in-law, I'll come see you again in a few days, or you can visit my general's mansion instead. 25. I unexpectedly became good friends with In Hongyu. Over the past few weeks, she and I spent a lot of time together. Since I had a new friend and she was outside the palace, I started going into the palace less frequently, partly because my best friend was pregnant and I didn't want to disturb her for long periods, and partly because that damn emperor had been watching her too closely. With some free time today, I agreed to accompany In Hongyu to the market. Every time, she paid for everything, so satisfying. Hand in hand, we strolled through the embroidery shops and jewelry stores for the nth time. If I lingered on a piece for more than 5 seconds, In Hongyu would just pay for it. Such a devoted couple. You too, the shopkeeper commented, eyes flicking between us. I couldn't blame him. In Hongyu is a tall, muscular woman with sharp features, a little androgynous. It's hard to associate her with being a woman. We're not, I tried to explain. In Hongyu, normally you abduct my princess consort and now you're even stealing my spot? The Regent Prince stormed in, furious. Greetings, Prince, the shopkeeper immediately knelt. All the other patrons followed suit, bowing on the floor. Everyone up, do as you please, the Regent Prince said, then effortlessly scooped me into his arms and carried me out of the embroidery shop. Xiao Yan, we'll meet again next time, In Hongyu called after us. By then, I was already in the Regent Prince's carriage, sitting next to him, his expression dark and terrifying. Juan, what's wrong? My voice trembled slightly. Seeing me like this, he softened. The shopkeeper thought you two were a couple. Well, he doesn't know better. Besides, In Hongyu and I are both women. How could we be married? I soothed him gently. What if In Hongyu were a man? Would you then be a couple? How could she be a man? She's a girl, I said, confused. Then what if? What if she were a man? The Regent Prince wasn't giving up. If In Hongyu were a man, would I be going shopping with him? I'm already the Regent Princess consort. I had a point. She came into my life after I became the Regent Prince's consort, so even if she were male, it couldn't happen. That's better, the Regent Prince said smugly, taking my hand.
26.
Recently, the Regent Prince spent a lot of time at the mansion, leaving me no time to shop with In Hongyu or visit my best friend. Every night, he would keep me up until very late. One day, I received a letter from my best friend, each word soaked with longing and worry. With no choice, I dragged my weary, aging body toward the palace. Along the way, I ran into In Hongyu, who was also coming to the palace. She chose to share my carriage. Having a 195 centimeters tall person in the carriage was cramped, but manageable. We hadn't seen each other for a week, and In Hongyu's eyes were red from missing me. Xiao Yan, I've missed you so much. Recently, the Emperor has gifted me gold, silver, jewels, silks, and money. I don't even know who to give them to, she said, eyes glistening. Mine were red too. Damn, these rich people, I'll fight you on this. We practically wanted to collapse into each other's arms, chatting all the way to the palace, reluctant to stop. We arranged to meet again in the Empress's quarters, where I introduced her to the Empress. From now on, the three of us could have tea parties together. 27. After parting with In Hongyu, I arrived first at the Empress's quarters. My best friend, 8 months pregnant, could only lie in bed. All the curtains had been replaced with priceless moonlight silk. I was so envious. Do you think I should give some moonlight silk to the Regent Prince too? My best friend asked helplessly. I smacked my forehead, laughing at her devotion. By the way, why haven't you come to see me for so long? Her eyes locked onto mine. I've been these past few days. I stammered, eyes darting nervously. How could I tell her I'd been spending the last few days with another woman? If she knew, seeing me with In Hongyu every day, she'd probably strangle me. Tell the truth, my best friend insisted. Sia, listen. Although I've been with In Hongyu, I'm thinking of you constantly. The Emperor watches you so closely I can hardly find a chance. Since your pregnancy advanced, I even have to submit a petition to see you, and 7 out of 10 times he refuses.
What?
You've been with In Hongyu every day? That's awesome. So you finally stopped pining for that stingy Regent Prince? No wonder the maids and eunuchs keep whispering that the Regent Princess consort is having an affair. My best friend's eyes sparkled. Wait, me? Having an affair? I was stunned.
Yes.
Both inside and outside the palace, it said the aloof Regent Prince is being cuckolded, that you're hand in hand with a 195 centimeters man at the market. Me. 6666666. Call me Sister 6 from now on, because I'm literally too 6 for this. Then I started explaining to my best friend how it really happened, and how In Hongyu and I became good friends. You better still be best friends with me, not her, my best friend pouted. You haven't visited and I'm pregnant. Tears come easily. And then she really cried. It's you, my ancestor. Don't cry. How could you doubt our pure, sincere friendship? You're first, always first, I hurriedly comforted her. Only then did she break into a smile. By the way, I asked you before, does In Hongyu really have 8-pack abs?
Thunk.
In Hongyu banged into the doorframe as she entered.
28.
The palace maid brought an ice pack and some eggs. My best friend signaled her to leave. I rolled an egg over In Hongyu's head for a while, then handed her the ice pack. You really need to be more careful. I can't help being too tall. In Hongyu grimaced in pain. Empress, do you want to check if I really have 8-pack abs yourself? Really? I can? My best friend's eyes welled up with tears again, spilling down her cheeks. In Hongyu's cheeks gradually turned red. Cough, cough. You really can fluster Hongyu. It's the first time I've seen her blush. If it were the Regent Prince, He'd be driven half to death by her temper, I laughed. Exactly. My cousin is never satisfied when I visit Xiaoyan. He complains I waste time, but he's always clinging to Xiaoyan. Why doesn't he say he's wasting time? The Regent Prince, still in the middle of something. Achoo! Just as we were chatting, an uninvited guest arrived. Xu Fei, adorned in her head full of golden hairpins that made both my best friend and me drool, came barging in again. Empress, you seem rather… why is there a man here? Xu Fei screamed. I'm a woman. Yin Hongyu looked embarrassed. Why is there a man-like woman in this room? I noticed drool streaming down Xu Fei's face, just like my best friends earlier. Xu Fei, what brings you here today? My best friend reverted to her usual calm, composed self. Humph. The Empress doesn't know, right? Yin Hongyu came to the palace today, and the Regent Prince was there too. After today, everyone will know who can win the heart of the White Moonlight. But the Regent Prince and Yin Hongyu are cousins, blood-related. Most likely the Emperor will win. I don't care. The Emperor said taking me into the harem was inevitable, and if I like a certain man, he'd naturally let me go. Xu Fei glanced at Yin Hongyu several times.
What? Me?
White Moonlight. Yin Hongyu's eyes widened in shock. You, White Moonlight, I lazily yawned. You, White Moonlight, my best friend mirrored my yawn.
You?
White Moonlight. Xu Fei stammered, pointing at Yin Hongyu uncertainly. I'm Yin Hongyu. 29. Xu Fei didn't cry when slapped, nor when the Emperor said she didn't cry, but when she realized Yin Hongyu really was Yin Hongyu, she cried. Later, palace maids and eunuchs said Xu Fei cried all the way back to the palace. But my best friend and I felt no sympathy. These past 2 years, she's been stirring trouble, clutching the Emperor at night and causing chest pains. My best friend complained that even the coarse rice and barley from the palace kitchen wasn't enough. That day, my best friend didn't get to feel Yin Hongyu's abs after all. Yin Hongyu refused. Despite her tall, burly appearance, she was easily embarrassed. The three of us had a wonderful chat, and when leaving, my best friend reluctantly watched us depart. In the carriage, Yin Hongyu suddenly looked serious. What's wrong, Hongyu? I asked. Xiaoyan, do you think someone like me will never get married? It was her girlish worry. Hongyu, what kind of guy do you like? I asked. I like someone stronger than me. He should handle a green dragon blade with skill and flair, not like Cui Yan. If he gets hurt, he's down for a month. Her voice was a little low when mentioning Cui Yan. I twitched. Stronger than you is a bit hard. Not talking strategies, even commanding armies against the Great Qi, no one surpasses you, but mastering the green dragon blade shouldn't be too hard. Really? That's perfect. Yin Hongyu clenched her fist. My green dragon blade is about 8 feet long, 80 pounds. It's heavy even for me. If someone can wield it better, then marrying him would be no problem. Me 6. Later, someone really did wield the green dragon blade with skill and married Yin Hongyu. His name? Cui Yan. I later learned he had been injured on the battlefield protecting her, stabbed deep by the enemy commander, nearly hitting his heart and lungs. But that's a story for later. 30. Back at the Regent Prince's residence, he was already waiting in my chamber. Seeing me, he immediately pulled me into his arms. Princess consort, a day apart feels like 3 autumns. My cheeks burned, and I shyly returned his embrace. I missed you too. After meeting Yin Hongyu, I no longer suspected the Regent Prince had a white moonlight. First, I had become friends with Yin Hongyu. Second, he guarded her like a thief. Often she wasn't even allowed into the mansion. Now it seemed more like he feared Yin Hongyu becoming my white moonlight. Once my suspicion cleared, all the small moments of the past 2 years flashed before my eyes. Living together, the Regent Prince defying others for monogamy, keeping the mansion empty for me. I remembered how a few years ago the court argued loudly, led by Minister Lin. The Emperor has 2 consorts in his harem. Why can't the Regent Prince? The gold, silver, silk, and satin he lavished on me. Things I had ignored. came rushing back in memory. A rich, handsome, devoted husband? Who wouldn't love that? Even ignoring the first 2 years, I'd fallen fast. How much did you miss me? He asked, brushing his forehead against my neck. Very, very, very much. Don't believe me? Show me. He lifted me onto the bed again. How did he still have that much energy every day? 31. 2 months later, my best friend was due to give birth. She labored in the inner hall while I prayed in the outer hall with my eyes closed. When I peeked, the emperor was praying in the same way. Your Majesty, the Empress is having difficulties. I nearly blacked out. Yin Hongyu held me up. If anything happens to the Empress, I'll have the entire Imperial Hospital accompany her to the afterlife. Me 6. But now wasn't the time to 6, what to do. Before I could cry, I fainted. I woke to daylight. The Regent Prince, eyes red, had stayed by my side. He hadn't slept. How's Sia? I grabbed his hand, trying to sit up. Calm down, Xiao Yan, stay calm first. 33. One good news, one bad. Good. My best friend was fine. The baby was too big, causing a difficult birth. Boy. Bad. Now I'm pregnant. The palace gifts poured into the Regent Prince's residence, as if recklessly. I don't know why the Emperor is so happy about my pregnancy, I grumbled to Yin Hongyu. He's just relieved you won't be running back and forth to the harem. The Regent Prince appeared calmly. Making me look like a nuisance, I pouted. And don't even think about sneaking into the palace with Yin Hongyu in early pregnancy. You eavesdropped on my whispers with Hongyu. That dog of a man. I gritted my teeth. I tried to get out of bed. I'm going to the palace to see Sia now. Never coming back. No, that's wrong. I'm not letting you. He quickly stopped me. Ah, Juan, I'm only a little over 2 months pregnant. I don't need to stay in bed all the time. Lie down more. It's good for your waist. Me. Yin Hongyu had already vanished somewhere, dodging this dog food entirely. 33. By 4 months, morning sickness was severe. To accompany me, the Regent Prince took extended leave from the Emperor, handling official duties at home. That day, my best friend came. She had just finished her confinement period. Did your Emperor let you out? I asked, munching on sunflower seeds. Of course not. He accompanied me, discussing state affairs with the Regent Prince ahead of us. She laughed sweetly. You wouldn't believe it, he said. If anything happened to the Empress, he'd have the entire Imperial Hospital accompany her. I finally got to tell her today. Ha 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 ha. My best friend laughed loudly. Ha 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 ha. I laughed just as loudly. 34. At 8 months, the Regent Prince refused all visits from my best friend and Yin Hongyu. Laughing too hard could trigger early labor, he claimed. Ah, Juan, laughing too hard doesn't cause early labor. I fumed. Don't be angry. It hurts your body. After the baby is born, I'll arrange for you to see them. Me, no, I'm not buying that. Time passed. Finally, my delivery day arrived. After excruciating labor, I gave birth to a daughter. Ah, Juan, it hurts so much, I cried, snot and tears streaming. No more, Xiao Yan, we won't have any more, he said. I raised my head with effort, looking into his bloodshot eyes. He was crying too? He tucked me in, turned away. I promised you, after delivery you'd see the Empress and Yin Hongyu. Let them accompany you a while. I'll go check on the baby. Our children. We have children. My best friend squatted beside me, weeping with joy. Yin Hongyu cried too. I, too tired to resist, drifted off to sleep. I heard my best friend call out. Weren't you going to see the baby? Why are you still at the door? A faint smile tugged at my lips as I slept peacefully. 35. Well, that's it. The babies are born. There's no going back to the modern world now. The end. Watching them navigate this twisted palace world makes me wonder, if I were in their shoes, would I really survive the politics, the secrets, and the impossible love triangles? I can't decide, would you? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for exploring this chaotic world with me.